Excellent connection, that says. Excellent connection. That's what we want. An excellent connection. Let's just make sure that everything is working okay. I think it is. Or maybe it isn't. Come on, you bastard. Yeah, I think we're good. Yep, we are live, I'm pretty sure. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Fix. Show number 175, guys. I've just noticed, check this out. Snapshot there, looks like, it's actually, it's Dev there in the background, the little cartoony caricature of Dev. 1 week out now. Georgie TSVETKOV, Devon LARRATT. Looks like we got Arm Sports Entertainment in the house. Tim, hey, Washington State went well, mate. I might even drop you the link over, Tim, later on. You can come on and let us know what went down in the mother fluffing house. In fact, I'm going to do that. We will have Krasimir Kostadinov on here tonight, guys. I'm sure we'll be joined by Rolly Ray Lipinge. Paul Lynn is in the air. We're going to talk about his match in a little while also. Let me have a look. Just send this link over to Tim. It'd be great to hear what went on over at the Washington State if he's around. We can get an update from Tim in a little while. Sent that, mate, to Messenger. First super chat of the show from Todd and All Eggs Love Child. Thank you so much, brother. Appreciate it. Really helps. He's put first super chat of the show. Envy me. Mate, thank you. Much appreciated. How's everybody doing tonight? The Fix 175. Friggin' snowstorm in England this weekend. Krasimir Kostadinov just sent me a thumbs up. He'll be coming on in a little while for those who are just joining. And you never know. We'll drop into the Fix. As so often the case. Guys, what a weekend of arm wrestling. Who watched the Monster Factory last night? Let's see in the chat how many of you guys watched the Monster Factory. I stayed up late last night watching that. And what can I say? Artem. Very, very impressed. Super impressive on that left arm. Lad continues to impress you, no doubt about it. Very, very solid win there over our very own White Oak, Paul Lynn. Paul, not a lefty, but his left is no joke. And it just underlines that Artem is pulling really well on that left arm. And I think he was lining up a match with Monster Mike at the next event. And he's giving away crazy weight there. Artem looked lean. Looked really, really lean. I want to discuss that with the guys when they come on. I also want to say Dustin Hyatt looked exceptional last night. Dustin, a deep clean Dustin Hyatt, guy we've used on Arm Wars a couple of times, and very, very solid arm wrestler, really making strides in the game, and he looked incredible. Very, very strong yesterday. He was the headline match at the Monster Factory yesterday. Robbie Karstendijk also. Wow. Body by Robbie. Win by Robbie. Massive, massive win. Robbie Karstendijk. And he will be pulling in a battleground over in Vegas in Arm Wars early January as we're joined by Krasimir. Let's get him in. Look at that look. Has anyone ever looked more official and smooth than that guy? Hey, Krasi, do us a favor, mate. Turn your phone on its side so we get you in. We get you in full size, mate. There he is. There's the guy. Mate, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Well, I'm checking in for a little bit of inside information, mate, because the word on the street is that you've been training with Acid G.
Yes.
The
yes,
lemonade.
I was training with him.
How's he feel, mate? Is it that we're a week out now, 1 week away? He tells us that he's iron, strongest he's ever been.
He is super strong. Still, in my eyes, Devon is the favorite in that match. But I am sure that Georgie will dominate the hand and the wrist. So the thing is that if Georgie will have the power to finish the match, this is the question. I'm sure that he will dominate the center of the match. But if he will be able to finish the match, I'm not sure about that.
Question for you, mate. We actually, and for everybody in the chat, if you're just joining the show, if you weren't aware, we actually released last night the match on the left arm. with Devon and Georgie.
Yes, I saw that.
But it was the film version. And that's free now on the Arm Wars channel for anyone watching. If you haven't seen it, get over there and check that out. It is a hell of a match. Not going to give any spoilers away. I think most people will know the result, but it was a hell of a match. But what was interesting there is, do you see the right arm match taking a similar shape to that in terms of the way that the match goes down? Because we saw Georgie have some real success there in the hand and wrist.
The surprising thing with the match on the left for me was that Devon was dominating the first 2 rounds. This was surprising for me. And in the later rounds, Georgie performed better. Yes. This was very strange, according to me. I didn't expect to see that. Do
you think it was down to? I mean, in my opinion, Devon was extremely unlucky not to get a couple of rounds in the bag very early. He had we looked at it on the square in the air when he was in there. Georgie had claimed that he came off the front, and when we looked at it, we analysed it. He had his elbow came off very slightly, so we had to restart the match. But on a different day, the different circumstances, extremely unlucky not to be 2 up early, because he dominated those rounds. But the 3rd round.
Yeah, it was war. It was definitely war.
Absolute brutal matchup. Hey, up here with these 2 motherfuckers. Yeah. But yeah, it was a ridiculous match, mate. And at that time, there's so many variables here, isn't there? Because at that time, you'd have to say that Georgie was getting ready for the WAF. He was probably not as focused and taking the thing as seriously as he has done of late. His better arm is his right arm. So many things will make the believers in Georgie believe more and more that he can do something here. And yet, we know that there is a massive disparity in left and right arm for No Limits Devon LARRATT. We've seen time and time again examples of just how dangerous that right arm of Devon is right now. And that is hard to get past, isn't it? And the other thing is, in last night's film, I want to draw attention to one of the things that Devon said there. And it was, I hesitate to call Georgie an arm wrestler. I want to call him a top roller. That's what he does. He's a purist top rolling machine. Is that a comment you agree with, Krasi, or is there stuff going on behind closed doors that...
Did you see?
His right arm is way stronger than his left. But his both hands are iron, so definitely with right arm he is way better arm wrestler than with left.
Yep. If you had £100 or €100 to bet on the match and bet on the score, what do you believe it's going to be, Krasimir, in that match?
I don't want to say this. But I'm sure that the first 2 rounds is going to be crazy match. The first 2 rounds for sure it's going to be crazy match. This is what I can say.
I believe this. Welcome to the show, Uncle John Thompson and Tim Talmadge on Sports Entertainment. And I believe these guys are coming to us live from Washington State, where the thing is wrapped up now.
Yep.
How did it go, guys?
Well, I probably still shouldn't legally drive anywhere. Still a little tuned up from last night, so that went well for sure. Okay. Event, I would say, awesome.
Mega.
Awesome event. Yeah, real good matches, killers.
Yeah, it turned out great. Big hitters, big surprises, some upsets.
Yeah.
There's
upset. This guy,
a little bit of an upset.
This guy just 3-0'd Jordan Sill yesterday on the right arm.
Well, you know what?
That's great.
That is a very, very impressive result, Tim. But
yeah,
Tim does have these moments where he's surprised. It's not the first time. Not the first time you've come out of left field on the right arm and done something, mate. So, yeah, impressive stuff. Very impressive stuff. What about yourself, John? Did you pull left-handed?
Yeah, I did what would you call it? I think they say it's shit the bed. I think that's how it is. But I had good luck in the tournament. I got second on the right in the 242s.
Right.
And it was competitive in all the other classes. You got some problems, but it was fun. Pulled 4 classes, so you can't go too far wrong.
That's firstly, I'm going to say the drinking thing. I hope you know that myself and Crassy, as you can probably see, athletes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know about Crassy. Never actually seen Crassy me drinking ever in my life. Do you drink at all, Crassy?
I don't think he drinks.
Very rare, very rare.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be around these lads. They're animals. No need at all. Myself, I don't mind a glass
Be a
of
different
wine.
story if he came here.
Yeah.
You know, I tend to not partake. It is Sunday night, but yeah, I'm off it. So, Tim, has he been behaving himself? Or John there? Has he get a bit out of hand last night?
I mean, he's hanging. He's hanging. You know, we had a surprise guest. We had the good old Gary Roberts Arm TV show up yesterday at the event.
Okay.
Yeah.
And partaked in the after party till the wee hours of the morning.
My goodness,
He
Gary.
does like to do that.
He's still Gary.
He's still Gary.
Yeah.
He's still Gary.
Hey, you know who else pulled yesterday that I haven't seen forever?
Okay.
Tom Nelson.
Yep.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Love that guy.
Awesome. He won right-hand supers second only to Josh Heck on the left.
Yeah.
So he's looking like he's ready to go. He was very impressive.
That's very interesting because I didn't even know Tom was still active.
Yeah, looked great yesterday.
He's been away for ages.
Yeah, his his mom just passed away as well.
I did not know
so
that.
he wanted to come pull for his mom again. So he said he's getting back into it. He said he's gonna roll right into California State next month. So we'll see.
Very interesting.
Yep.
He used to be better with left.
He is.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
He still is. He hit a brick wall. Josh Heck. I don't know if you know, he's deaf. He pulls in Utah now. So he trains with like Bob Brown and stuff, and Cody Merritt and all them.
Super tough dude.
Super strong guy.
What weight?
Super strong.
Supers.
He's supers. Okay.
Yeah.
What weight was Tom? Did he come in big or?
Yeah, he
Tom weighed like 260.
Because interesting, that's a match I would have always liked to see Krasimir pull.
Yeah, he's like 260, which I thought he was going to go to 242. He could. I think he will, like starting next year. It was kind of just getting back into it. No reason to do it here, but I think he'll be a 242 puller.
Now, before we go any further, we've just been joined by our technical director and director of porn and cats, Rolly Ray. And as you can see,
hey boys,
Rolly Ray looks younger than he did last week. How is that possible? It's the lighting, Ray. I think you've got very soft lighting on your face today, pal. There it is.
Oh, way better.
Bit of mood lighting. Look who we've got on, Ray. It's only Krasimir Kostadinov.
I see. I feel my hook just went 10%.
Being on the same show. Yeah. Hey, and we got to talk tonight about the big match that was announced last week. We know that Krassy's going to be pulling John Brzenk next out in January.
Nice. What is that? East-West?
East versus West in Jan, isn't it, Krassy? You're pulling him?
Yes.
Just
awesome.
for everybody's info, Krassy, give us the details.
I might see you there.
Weight and so on. Is it going to be one? Wait, is the weight 105, mate?
Yes.
Easy for you, yeah?
Where's that?
Yes, I'm 101 kilo.
105?
101.
Yes.
Bloody hell. Yeah, because John, you would imagine, will be much stronger at the 105 than we just saw him with Sasho. Now, weren't you training with Sasho last week?
I did. I put him the day before yesterday.
He was real.
Any sort of conversation with Sasho around how he feels that you and John are going to go down?
We spoke with him. I believe for the moment right now, I'm a bit stronger than Sasha in the hook. If my wrist is stronger or no, I cannot say this. But I believe in hook I'm a bit stronger than him. But Sasha is performing extremely well against top rowers lately. So let's see how I will do.
And the 105, obviously, really good class for you. We know you've done very well at Worlds in and around that weight class. Are you coming back to East versus West really with your eye on the title now, mate? Because that is one stacked class. You look at who's in there right now. Kyrigali Ongabayev, absolute killer. Todd Hutchings on the best form of his life. The MF chef, Sandra Shedis, one of my favorite guys of all time.
No,
in and out.
Sanders is in 115.
Ah, he can drop weight. Come on, let's go. Ray, could you get Sanders to 105 kilos? Get him on a treadmill? Any chance?
Yeah, it's not that hard. It's not that hard.
Doable. It could. And what's Bacho going to pull in now? Is he going to be 95s or 105?
I don't know. But 2 days ago, I saw a video of Bacho stopping in the middle of the table, Mark Basio. That was super impressive.
Very, very strong. And he's still only 18 years old, isn't he?
19, I think.
19 years old. Mind you, if we're talking about age, the man of the moment's got to be Reno Masic. Yet. What's your opinions of Reno Masic, Krasimir?
Amazing junior. Amazing kid.
Yeah. He's ridiculous, isn't he? He's ridiculous. That'd be quite a battleground, wouldn't it, Ray? If we could get together the MF Chef, Reno, Krasimir, and that fourth spot, who would you put in there? A lot of options. I kind of like John, actually, in a four-way. That'd be pretty impressive stuff right there. Absolutely.
I'm wondering how strong would John be in 105 compared to 95? What's the difference? How many percent would be the difference?
I think quite a lot. I mean, John, Tim, what do you think? Much stronger with the weight difference?
I think he's stronger. I think he's stronger.
I'd agree.
He looked extremely trim, didn't he, at the last event? Looked like he'd lost a little bit too much.
He hasn't been down there in years. I mean, in that weight. I mean, that's just out of the norm for him. I mean, he looked shredded, but I definitely thought he was weaker.
What are you in at the moment, Tim? Because that arm's looking bloody big.
I'm 220 walking
giving
around.
It the out angle thing. What's going down there? What's your
220.
weight?
220.
220. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, bigger.
But I'll pull down to 90. I'll make the cut to 98.
Well, I know I was around John the other week when we were out getting stemmed, and he was thick. If you lost weight, Johnny, you're similar size.
Well, I made it to 242 for this weekend. So now I'm probably like 250. Maybe very similar. 255, 250.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, you look big, Tim. Definitely look like you put a bit
in there.
Bit of meat on you there, son. Not a doubt. If you're just smacking Jordan Sill around, you never know. It might be your class. Could be the one.
Yeah. So I think that I was number 9. He was 5. So I guess that puts me number 5, North America, 220.
Damn.
Pretty bloody solid. So let's talk about the white elephant in the room, because he's not on the show tonight. Did anybody watch the Monster Factory last night? Paul Lynn and Artie?
I've not seen it, but I definitely heard about it.
I saw that match, yeah.
What did you think, Ray? That was impressive, wasn't it?
Artem is strong. His left has always been great. I just didn't know how strong Paul's left is, right? Because he's mostly competing with right all the time. So I just didn't know.
Did it surprise you, or did you expect that outcome?
I don't know what to expect. I expected that, Artem should be the favorite because Paul doesn't pull lefty, right? Most of the times in super matches. I have never seen him, at least. I don't remember. So I knew that Taranenko was coming in as the favorite.
Yeah, I was very, very impressed. I thought Artem looked absolutely rock strong over there. What about yourself, Tim? You know quite a lot about Artem. He's been over there, pulled with you guys quite a lot. In fact, didn't that where you pulled him, Ray? Over at the Washington State event.
No, Arizona 2 years ago.
Arizona State.
They pulled left and right.
Yep.
And he was
he's
weight
level.
there, wasn't he?
He was way smaller 2 years ago. Artem.
Yeah, he was probably.
I think Artem's walking around like 208 now.
Yeah, very, very solid. I was really impressed with that. Who do you think's the closest thing to him in the States then right now? Because obviously Paul isn't considered to be absolutely top draw there. Who would you consider is going to be left-handed the biggest threat for him?
I still want to see him pull Paul Talbot again. I think Paul Talbot's going to put up that fight. I think Paul Talbot could even be the favorite.
Yeah.
What and what about Merlot?
I don't know.
They pulled in like 2 years ago at Winter Blast, and Jason won. But I would like to see that run back.
Yeah, I think we were actually talking. It was we wanted to put Merlot, Talbot, Artem, and who was it? There was another guy, a four-way. We thought that would just be a killer full. I think it was Oleg.
Oh yeah,
from California. Yeah, thought that would be a killer four-way.
Yeah. Yeah, I was really impressed last night by Artem. I thought he was outstanding. And I also thought Shark was strong as shit as well last night.
Yeah.
Very
actually, it was John Therian, left-handed.
John Therian.
Yeah. So I think they're actually, are they pulling left-handed in Canada?
Right? I think it's just right-handed.
Right, yeah. I think left, from what I saw last night, I think that Artem's, I don't know, what do you think, Ray? I think Artem's way too strong for Therian on the left.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah. Yeah. John's right is his main arm, and I think Artem's left is maybe his main arm. So
yeah, really, really solid. It's funny because Artem was over in the UK a couple of weeks ago, pulling with Tom Holland, who we had on the show last week. I don't know whether they pulled on the left arm, but that would be really interesting because Tom's got since Tom's been bigger, his left has been rock strong.
Well, if you just from 98 to 209 is a big difference in the States and in North America, because if you go to say 98, it's got to be Paul Talbot and Merlot. If you just jump that little bit to 209, him and Rackers left-handed.
Yeah,
because Rackers is the guy to beat right now.
On that arm, yeah,
that's a nice match.
It is. So we just had a super chat in from Todd and Oleg's love child. And he's a big fan of Krasimir Kostadinov, not just because of the haircut. But Krasimir is one of the most honest men in the sport. And that puts him in weird company here, because we're all, the rest of us, and he is an all-time great, and we love him. That may be the nicest individual comment that's ever been sent into the show about anybody ever, Krasimir. So, yeah. Yeah, we usually get some strange comments, so that's pretty good, mate. That's very, very solid comment. It really is. I'm impressed by that. Now, let's talk about some of the stuff that's coming up next weekend at King of the Table. Krasimir, first time on here, mate, for a long time. It's been a while. You're in the thick of this. Firstly, are you going over there, mate? You're going to go over?
I'm what?
Are you going to watch the match at King of the Table?
Yes.
How many Bulgarian pullers are going over, mate? How many are you guys?
You mean to go there live? No.
Yes. Oh, you're not going over. Okay.
I'm not going over.
Krasi doesn't believe in Georgi that much.
It's difficult to bet against Devon right-handed right now. Even left-handed.
Yeah, it looks ridiculous. Left-handed? I'm really interested in left-handed. Really interested. Left-handed, he's an enigma. It's remarkable. When he came over and he pulled with Sandris, that was an awesome match. Absolutely. In fact, I'm going to say it was quite shocking. Not just for that we didn't believe that Sandris would give him problems. It was shocking how good the match was. because Sandris wasn't fit at that time on the left arm, and Devon obviously wasn't training his left at all. And it was almost like an aftershock. They weren't sure they were going to pull on that arm. They were sort of like, we may do it, we may do it. And then they got talking, and it just sort of evolved. And the match was amazing. The atmosphere around that match was amazing. We were shocked how good it was. It was a fantastic pull. When he came back to the second dart card, Devon's left arm was night and day better. Like, shockingly better. Unbelievable difference. Really, really amazed me. Did you pull him? Were you at dart card 2, Ray? Did you just come to 1?
Just 1.
Just 1. I wish you were at the second one. It was ridiculous. We were pulling him afterwards on the practice table, and he felt like a friggin' titan. Ridiculous. I couldn't believe the difference. And then when he came back to pull Georgie, he said, my left's good, but nowhere near as good as it was. Somebody needs to walk me through that. Because a guy that's not training the arm at all, I can't understand why there would be that significant change in it. When he was obviously peaking on the right arm, because he just pulled literally days before that match, like less than a week, he pulled Hermes right-handed. Anybody ever seen anything like that before? That's the strangest shit. Do you get, when you're peaking on one arm, do you get real gains on the other arm? I never did that.
Yeah, usually I do. I feel if I'm preparing with my right for super, most of the time my left gets better.
But you're train both equally, don't you, mate? Like, do you work your left arm as hard or equally with your right?
I did few, like most of the times, yes, and I think most, like I think Krasi trains both arms equally, right? But I remember for Ingen, I was preparing just my right. I did nothing with my left. And after the match, my left was way better.
That's super weird.
Usually when I'm peaking with my right,
left gets stronger.
My left is not that good.
No. But after,
if I want to be stronger, I need to focus and train very focused.
On that arm, yeah.
Yes.
I'm the same, mate. I am exactly the same.
I don't get stronger by resting.
But most of your work is on the table, isn't it? The Bulgarian team train excessively on the table, if anything, multiple times a day. I mean, Georgie was saying that you guys were working 2 and 3 times a day with Sasho, yourself, and him.
Yes, the thing is that I started with this system after I spoke with our legendary trainer Ivana Bajiev, the weightlifting trainer.
Yep.
So I implemented their technique, their system to arm wrestling.
And just walk everybody through that, Krasi. How does the rationale work? How does the system work?
The thing is that we don't pull like we're on a competition. We just train different movements on the table.
Okay.
We don't try to beat each other. We try to, for example, if I train with somebody weaker, he will catch with 2 hands and he will just take my hand. I am focusing to curl him and he's just taking my hand.
Yep.
For example, he wants to train his hook. I will put a belt around me and will beat him slowly in the hook. He will focus just to stop me and I will very slowly beat him.
Yeah.
We're not pulling like for real. We're just training different movements. It's totally different story. If you pull to win every time, you will get destroyed for 2-3 days.
And through let's say you're doing the 3 sessions in the day, will you just work a different move on each one? Or do you work different intensity levels, different power levels? How does that work?
For example, right now for my match with John, I'm 90 or 80 to 90% doing just side pressure and wrist all the time.
So every training, 3 times a day, side pressure wrist, side pressure wrist.
Yes. If my opponent was hook puller, like I put Lachlan,
Yeah.
I was mainly focusing on side pressure and pronation. Side pressure, pronation.
Yeah. That was a hell of a match, incidentally, mate. That was great match. Did he shock you, Lachlan?
Yes, his stopping point was a bit stronger than I expected. I was expecting to be able to finish the match, but his biceps and pronation were way better than I thought.
Ray, just want to bring you in at this point, mate. Obviously, you do a great deal of training, a focus on training. You're a professional arm wrestling coach yourself. What do you think of that approach that Krasi just talked about there? Is it something you've ever emulated? Have you tried that yourself, mate? Or do you guys do something similar in Latvia?
Yeah, of course. There's not every pulling session is pulling session, right? Because most of the times when guys come to pull, everyone wants to pull. They want to win. So it's the same. Like you can go on pulling and just do pulling, or you can do literally exercises. And I would it would be the same thing if you go to the gym and you're either lifting weights or you're training, right? Because you can always go there and lift weight. You saw someone lifting big weight, so you want to lift big weight, but not necessarily training, right? Doing a 110-kilo cheat curl isn't training. It's lifting heavy weights. It's just literally lifting. Yep. But if you go there and you do, let's say, 6 sets of whatever with 70, 80 kilos, that is training, right? And for people, most of the time, it's hard to understand. And everyone on the table, they have ego. But I think in Bulgaria, the ego gets beaten out of you pretty fast because you get on table. And if you want to be an asshole, you will be very easily put in your place. But if you're there to work and you work and you get better, you can do it. And it's about like you can do any training as many times a day as you want. But if you go too hard, it's impossible, right? The problem is everyone usually goes too hard. Well, guys will say, well, after every pulling session, my arms are destroyed. Like, think about it. Just think about how much were you pulling? What were you trying to achieve, right? If your arms were destroyed, that's like literally going in there, doing your max for any other exercise. And of course, you're going to get destroyed. But if you go there and you have a good training partners and you come to agreement what you want to work on, you work on those things. And I think there's time and place for everything. If there's no competition around, why not make practice into competition? If I haven't pulled anyone good in a long time, I want to pull with them. I don't want to, but if we see each other like every week, how about we train together and we do exercises and we do drills and things like that? Right.
So how many guys were there in Latvia this weekend, Ray?
It was, I think about 40. Yeah.
You had 4, and in terms of the 40 guys, were these 40 high-level pullers? So your best, or was it a very mixed?
Very mixed, but it was almost all the best in Latvia just there. It was me, Jānis, Raimonds, Toms, Vladislavs, Sandris. Kristaps wasn't there, and then just like there was different levels. So we had people coming in, so you have different levels to pull. It was just 4 hours. We literally pulled for 4 hours. James Ghetto went to sleep for after 2.5, and today he was totally destroyed, so he couldn't. But it was just everyone just came. We arm wrestle. Of course, there were no one was doing drills. We came to arm wrestle. Right, it was a big party, so you arm wrestle. But if I'm doing my training, if I'm preparing for something, right, then we're gonna do drills, or it's up on the situation. In my opinion, problem for me on the table, it's hard to figure out, just where's the line where you get stronger. Weights is easier. With table, I know I'm pulling long enough where I know I feel stronger, right? Most guys, they don't feel the difference. For them, it's easier to understand with weights. It takes time. I think for everyone, it takes time. I don't know how in Krasi's experience, how it is. Because for me, the young guys, for them, it's because they the line, there's too hard or not enough. And the middle is where you want to train, right? And for them, it's very hard to hit right there.
Yeah, agree. I want to say something. usually I perform way better when I'm training with some way weaker than me.
Me
For
too.
example,
Me too. Because you can work much better,
yes.
right?
For example, my best performance so far, 2016 Zloty Tour,
Yep.
2019 Zloty Tour. And for example, when I won Zloty 2019, the overalls with left and second with right,
you were very...
I was training with one junior, 65 kilograms. He was beating me with two hands.
Mm-hmm.
And with Dimitrina Petrova,
Yeah.
she was also beating me with two hands. And when I beat Alex Kurdecha, I was preparing again with these two, with this 65 kilo junior and with her. So I perform way better when I'm training with somebody way weaker than me. When I'm training with Sasha and Georgie, sometimes I put too much damage on my arm.
Because they're so powerful. Yeah.
Yes, and the thing is that it's what Ray said. It's not that easy to leave your ego. It's not that easy to leave your ego.
Yeah, it's a little too competitive when you view Sonev, Sasho, guys like that. It's ridiculous level.
Yeah, and I prefer to train with somebody, some junior with two hands to beat me very slowly, to put all my coordination and everything I have, and they to beat me very slowly to get me out of my position.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the I think I done my best training when I prepared with my novice juniors, all those guys that I can control, because I get so much work in and no damage. So literally I was pulling every day for hours, no problem, because there's no damage on my arms. Vlad comes in and just blasts you open and you just hit back and you're done, right? It's all the time like this. It's very hard. It's because you want to test yourself with the strongest guys, right? But as soon as you test yourself with the strongest guy, that was maximum effort training. That was maximum effort training, and you need to recover from that. And then people like it's. I think it's on the. You put everything on paper. It's very easy to understand for everyone. But the problem is ego. Ego is always there because we want. Yes. You're like, this guy beat me last time. I trained, now I improve. I need to check, right? Because that's the only way. Doesn't matter what I'm lifting. If I can't beat you, it means shit.
And it's isn't it? The sort of repetition drill work is I think a lot of us do this sport because you actually fucking enjoy arm wrestling. And sometimes when you're in a field of guys who are quite close, you do just want to pull a little bit, and it's like Crossy was saying and Ray was saying a moment ago, it's hard not to do that. I've been to so many practices at so many places where 5 minutes in, everybody's beating the piss out of each other, and it never, a huge. I mean, you get a lot of people at your practice, don't you, John? A lot of guys show up.
Yeah, we got 20, 25 guys usually, and it is a challenge. And I think it happens a lot in North America where there just isn't a lot of that specific training going on. It is everybody wants to scrimmage. Nobody wants it. Like growing up in hockey, you gotta do the stick handling drills, you gotta do the passing drills, but nobody really wants to do that. They just want to scrimmage, right? But with all that other stuff, the scrimmage doesn't look very good. So my drive is always to refine, find where those areas are, repeat, develop the muscle memory, go from there.
It's an interesting point.
Hey, stop. I'm sorry, Neil. I'm sorry, because you guys addressed this. John had a great time in Washington State, as I can see and hear. Because I was like, who's talking? Who is like?
We're doing all right.
Yeah,
we're getting through it.
Look,
for people in the chat, right? No shit. You can't make this up. I could show you. So we have a chat group on the Fix.
Will you show what you sent us?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
No, won't do that. So, so yeah, you did, because you put, you piece of shit, I think was your answer when I follow that. That's what you call me. So, right, we have this chat group, and I'd forgotten today because I've been busy as frig all weekend, events after event after event every goddamn week, but it is what it is. I send a note out and I'm like, oh, lads, who's on for the fix tonight? Can't remember what you guys said. I knew Krasser was coming on, but Engin was coming on, actually. But anyway, Engin may come on, but I thought Engin was coming on, don't know why. So I send this note over. And John comes back and he's like, dude, no, I am Washington State and I'm still pissed. Won't be doing. Paul was first. He's like flying. He's the White Hawk is literally in the air right now. He's flying. And then straight in on the heels was John. And he's like, nah, I'm still drunk and I'm at Washington State. And then obviously spot Tim in the chat. And I was keen to, I missed Washington State being on shows this weekend. So I wanted to just understand what had gone on there because I didn't catch any of the action. Last night when I got back stupid late, I caught pretty much all the Monster Factory. So that was until like 2:30 a.m. here. I was watching that. But I missed Washington State. So I thought, oh, when I saw Tim in the chat, I thought, I wonder how that's gone on. But John wasn't coming on. And then I send the thing through and it's gone. Still lit up.
Still going strong.
Well, I'm almost ready to start again. Tell you the truth, I'm feeling better now that I came on the show. I'm feeling ready for the rest.
What actually happened, John? Did you just you struggled in the super match? Did you?
Oh yeah, shit the bed in the super match. But the guy Gage Jordan's like goddamn kryptonite, just lightning fast presser, and couldn't get what I needed in the setup to set myself up right. But the tournament actually went pretty well for me. A lot of strong dudes. Good competition. Like there was no freebies in this one. You know how you're always looking for like one freebie. Oh, like maybe I'll get through the first round. No, none of that. All dickhead matches all the way through the tournament because everybody was killers.
Did you get into some scraps then? Some good matches?
Yeah. Had good matches. Went back and forth. A guy that I would like to have a super match with on the left hand, to tell you the truth, is Jordan Sill.
Well, it's funny you should say that, mate, because I was literally just going to say, did you pull Jordan left?
Yeah. So he ended up beating me. I missed the go on our restart. Outside of the straps, we had a wonky battle that was going back and forth. But I talked to him afterwards, and I said, that might be an okay super match. And
I'll tell you this, right? I'm looking through the other day. I'm looking through the list of the guys that were in high stakes and high rollers. Who comes to mask one of them? He's going to be in Vegas. Oh, before anybody gets carried away as well, I saw a show the other day, and on there it was saying, "Oh, John Brzenk's pulling in there, Jerry Cadderett's pulling it." They are not pulling. All right, there's something else going on. Well, Jerry Cadderett, you never know. I'm not going to say they're not all pulling, okay? But John, as far as I am aware, is not arm wrestling there. He's coming to hang out. It's my 50th. Out there as well. We're going out there. Tim's going to be out there. He very, very likely could be pulling. Luke Pulcher very likely could be pulling. John and Jordan, that would be interesting there because Jordan Sill was one of the guys in the high stakes and the high rollers show. He was there. So that would be very, very interesting. If Jordan is interested in that match, Jordan, if you're watching, let's talk about that because that could go down. That'd be really interesting. Love Jordan. Yeah. The thrill is
that'd be a good match.
Yeah, I would definitely be up for that. And what was he? He weighed in at 235.
Fully boots on, jacket on, got out of the truck 235. So he's probably 220.
Yeah,
224, 225.
He's just that dude who's always a specimen.
Yeah,
he's just granite dude.
That's very interesting. That is very interesting match. That four-way we're talking about also, obviously, Brad Grundy is going to be in there. Yeah, we'll pick that up. There's more coming on that one, but yeah, still a lot of irons in a lot of fires.
Looking forward to it.
Looking forward to it. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, Derek Smith called me this week. We need to talk. Luke Pulcher's just messaging me literally full on right now. Luke was messaging me right there. And Luke's on a downer because of what happened yesterday. He pulled
with Robbie.
Robbie looked.
Whoa. Like I knew Robbie was strong when we met him in Florida, but like Robbie's really strong.
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah. Really strong. I mean, Robbie wanted to pull Ray and Florida. That was his like dream request. He was like, Ray, I'd love to pull Ray. Not in a cocky way. Rob's not that guy at all. Robbie's not that guy. He was like, it'd be awesome to pull Ray. It'd be awesome to pull Froda. I'd like to test where I'm at with those guys, see where I'm at. I think it'd be ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Was that a hook match? Did they go straight hook?
Robbie pulled his top roll together a little bit, and I'll tell you what it is. He had Luke top rolling. When was the last time he saw that?
Wow, never.
Ever. I'm telling you, Luke was running for the top roll a little bit yesterday.
All right. I'm about to watch that match.
With a degree of success. With a degree of success. So, yeah, all I can say is when a guy is bullied that much that he changes, I mean, it's like Krasimir when he starts top rolling and people are like, what the you doing, son? It's illegal. The other week we saw Sasho top rolling. It's like when Ray did it. Ray wanted to punch himself in the dick. He came off, literally, we were at reality check and he came off and he went, look, first of all, I want to apologize to everybody. That was the top roll. You weren't happy with it?
No, I still wake up in the middle of the night screaming.
Yes.
Like, I took his hand. I took his hand. I'm like, I have his hand in my arm, and I'm like, sorry, take it back. Let's get in.
Get in.
Wrist on wrist, buddy. Wrist on wrist.
Yeah.
Ray, when you say this, I remember 2000, maybe it was 15 or 16 at Croatia at Zege Strong. I beat Mehdi Abdulvand. I top rolled him and beat him in a second. And after the match, I was like,
You're disgusted at yourself.
I beat him very easy, but
yeah, I beat him very easily, but I don't myself.
I don't feel satisfied.
You're like, hey, dude, it was an accident. I'm sorry. Just like, could you be stronger there so I don't get this? Come on. So I just,
yeah, I've emasculated myself. Oh, God. Like, terrible. Can't sleep. Yeah. My favorite story with that, nothing to do with top roll and hook, but I remember we had Engin on here, the psycho, and he was talking to me about when he lost the Worlds, right? And when I say he lost at the Worlds, he was second.
Yeah, he said, what did he say? He wanted to cut off his arms?
He wanted to cut his arm off. But you know what Engin said, and he's not joking, not like figuratively speaking. He was like, no, I want to cut. He said, I was considering cutting my arms off. I'm like, what? He said, yeah, I was going to cut my arm off because it failed me. And I'm like, okay, dude, that's different.
That's dedication.
Yeah, that's what you call taking it seriously. You see, I was led in the bath after the show. I'm looking at my arm and I'm thinking, may cut it off. I find said I'm going to break some glass and cut my arm off. It's a different hombre right there. I don't think we went that far, did you, Ray? After top rolling, Craig, you weren't prepared to cut your arm off. Just have another beer and call it quits. But yeah,
fine.
When do you go out, Ray? Because it's imminent, isn't it? You've got everybody to interview, haven't you?
On Tuesday night, arrive Wednesday morning.
And if you didn't catch it, guys, anybody in the chat, Rolly Ray was on the other day with Dev. In fact, been on there with Devon and also had Hermes, my friend, was on there.
Yeah, I wanted to do Georgie today, but I got here very late, and he's leaving tomorrow already. So I think.
Did I see that LARRATT is still there? Is Vitaly already over there?
I don't know.
I thought he was already over there, but yeah. So Hermes isn't there yet. Obviously, Hermes was on. If you haven't caught those shows, guys, get over, check that out. Get over and check out the Hermes interviews. Really strong. I was listening to it in the car the other day on the way to the show. Also, really, really good interview on there with Dev. That'll have been racking up the views, and it was a cracker. Who's on there for a long period of time also. So yeah, huge matches coming out there. I mean, the fact that Hermes and LARRATT has been overshadowed by Georgie and Devon shows you the magnitude of the card over there. It's rock strong. Those two matches are stupid high level. Krasi, who have you got in LARRATT? Who you've got a lot of experience with Vitaly LARRATT also. Less so with Hermes, but I know you've pulled Hermes in the past.
I have put Hermes twice with right, and I beat him twice.
Nice. Look like that.
But the thing is that he is not the same Hermes anymore. He's 30 kilos heavier now. And that match is unpredictable for me. I really don't know what to expect. I can see it going easy to LARRATT or going easy for Vitaly or war. I really cannot say what's going to happen. I can imagine all the scenarios happening there, except for Hook.
Yeah, that will be I mean, I said the other week, I do think that the pendulum of opportunity is in favor of LARRATT. I think Vitaly starts as a favorite in my eyes, just because of the. But what's interesting is that he is low hand, and I think he'd do a lot better if he stood his knuckles up, and I don't think he will. That's going to be really interesting, and that for me does give a big window of opportunity. So it's a much better match for him than the Devon match was, in my opinion. In my opinion, I really do believe that. I actually think Georgie Svetkov could do really well with LARRATT because of the style.
Agree.
Yeah, because of the fact that Georgie can stand his hand up so well and can maintain that hand so well. I think that, you know, those little nuances in matches make a big difference. And I do think that with the speed of Hermes, and if he can stand his knuckles to the ceiling, yeah, as I say, I could see that also. He could flash LARRATT because he's got that kind of raw horsepower. It's just if the match stops, I think the first time it stops, it's going to be quite that could be an exciting match, because we know that it's not his ace card by any stretch, but we know that Hermes will hang on to the death. We've seen him do that. It's whether he can use it on the ace side effectively, and I don't know whether he can with a guy who's got that much top end. And the other thing there is, Hermes talks a lot about arm wrestling smart, and I believe he does arm wrestle smart. I believe he is an intelligent arm wrestler. You lose your hand once to that extent with LARRATT, you're not getting it back. You know?
Yes.
So do you think if he lost his hand and wrist, we'll start with Ray, if he lost it, would you continue to pull in that position, or do you think he'll just let it go? Do you think he'll sacrifice it?
Hermes, round one, round two, my advice, and he knows this, and he's smart Hermes, he will not fight. He shouldn't fight.
I agree.
He should, if he can get anyway a reset, try again. Yes. No, try again. You know what? Even if he keeps losing the wrist on first two, do some damage, find something. Either pull him back, you know, work on his back pressure, get the whatever. And round three, well, this is the moment, because don't give it to the last.
Doesn't matter then. Yeah.
Then he can just boom.
Yeah, but in those first two rounds, I do believe he's got to think about smart arm wrestling, because, as I say, you lose your hand and wrist with Vitaly, not good. I mean, it'll go dark on you really quick at that point. As I say, Krasimir, my God, a lot of experience with that dude. But I think you've probably faced I want to say arguably the best version of Vitaly that we've ever seen. The guy when you pulled him in Bulgaria, holy shit, he was big.
He was super strong back then, super strong.
Yeah, he looked massive. I remember looking at the pictures of him before that match and thinking, God damn, he looks big. Sometimes a guy just peaks and they look spot on. When KOTT came to Arm Wars Reality Check, dude was friggin' huge. He looked like he was made from granite. It's funny because he was out pulling Corey at the Devon Laban match. Nowhere near as big. Just didn't look as big. Didn't look as imposing. No other way of saying it. Alex didn't look as big as he had at Reality Check. When he came in at Reality Check, I think all of us were like, what the... He looked impressive. Looked like his conditioning was on point. He looked massive. And he was ridiculous strong that day. Ferocious strong. He didn't have the meltdown that John had.
But I don't think that the look is so important for the strength.
No, but I think it was all there for him that day. Grassy, believe me, mate, he was explosive as hell. He was keeping his hand and wrist. His angles were sharp. He was really fast. Best I've seen him arm wrestle, if I'm honest. I thought he looked incredible at reality check. Very, very, very strong. Sometimes he used to outrun his arm a little bit. He wasn't doing that day. He was collecting his hand. He looked very, very strong. He was fast. His timing was on point. Like you say with LARRATT, when you pulled him in Bulgaria, I thought he was great that day. Looked incredible. He really did.
So anyway, Neil, if Alex comes back soon in this time frame where we're seeing all these guys happening, he comes back as in that shape or better, where he's just monstrous. Where do you put him? And who do you put him against out of the gate?
Isn't he pulling Morozov in January?
Yes, he is.
Oh, is that confirmed now?
Oh.
Yeah, I thought he was pulling East versus West in Jan against Morozov.
Beautiful.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Beautiful.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
But I think it's left arm, I think.
Yes.
Oh, it's lefty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe so. But I don't know, or I have not seen how big Tom is now. I don't know whether Morozov's back big. Because when he looked really leaned out last time I saw him. Huge difference physically. I mean, guy always looks incredible. He's an athlete. He's in fantastic condition, but he didn't look as big and as powerful and as imposing as he has. Yeah, I know. As Krasi said, size doesn't always matter, but on occasion it really does. And he when he's been firing on all cylinders, he's looked a very, very solid puller. He didn't look himself physically. Didn't look good. Not that I believe that it would have made a much difference. I think Georgi's got a really good style to combat him in that respect. We'll see another time out, but I think Georgi Svetkov's a bad man. I think he beats a lot of dudes, and I think he will beat a lot of dudes coming up. I mean, Krasi, you obviously you're not confident with the match with Devon. You said earlier on it's hard to bet against Devon, but how highly do you rate Georgi Svetkov in the mix?
He's right there against anyone. He can pull against anyone right now.
So let's say he comes back and he pulls right-handed with Alex. Who you got?
I would give the edge to Georgi. But that's really interesting match because they both are extremely good in that posting style.
Yeah. Yeah. Who you got in LARRATT and Georgi?
Definitely Georgi. Definitely Georgi there.
I think he's got a really good chance there as well. I saw some.
Do you know what who I would bet on against Georgi, or who is a little bit the favorite in my eyes? Todd Hutchings.
Well, I understand why, because his ability to stretch you out and close that.
Because Georgi will take his wrist immediately, but
I think it's an awesome match.
But after that, it's gonna be hell of a match.
I think it's an ace match, absolutely. But there's part of me also that if you're a Toddzilla fan, you kind of want him to stay away from those giants and just keep himself fit, because he's been injured before. He's not the youngest guy in the world, and I'm a huge Toddzilla fan. I think right now Todd is awesome. God damn, that man is on fire at the moment. That performance at East versus West was unbelievable. His last two performances, I actually think that his performance against Sagov is overlooked by most people. Just how strong Ibrahim Sagov is. Ibrahim Sagov is one of the most awesome looking dudes. Do you know when you look at a guy and you just think, God, he is a powerfully made dude. You know when a guy walks past you and you're like, you feel like your testosterone's gone up just because he walked past you, because he's like something off a Gillette advert. That guy is ridiculous. He's absolutely. Isn't he only been pulling as well, Ray, for like 2 years or something? 2-3 years, like not.
He told me, yeah, something like that, 2 years. But I don't believe him.
Todd Hutchings, the last 2 years, Todd Hutchings is just amazing.
Yeah, leveled up. And physically, I mean, his conditioning, vascular as hell. When I saw him at the Sagoff match, obviously I'm used to seeing Todd, and Todd, with all due respect to him, he's always amazingly strong, but he's always looked a certain way, you know. And when I saw Todd at the Sagoff match, I was like, okay, totally different physical condition, just clearly trained very differently. Looked just much more carved up, leaner, still sweating like a bastard, but he looked he was ridiculous, absolutely unbelievable. But he looked completely different, super vascular, looked like, you know, part mum, part hard on. And he just came out of the lifts, and I'm like, God damn, mate, what the? He looked like he'd been jogging or something. Looked like fit, much better condition.
Everyone should say that Devon and Hutchings are doing miracles the last 2 years in the super match format.
I think it's definitely the best Todd that I've ever seen. And I've seen him bloody impressive a few times. You know, when he pulled in the WAL against Ron Bath.
Yes.
He was comedy strong there as well.
Just the last 2 years, Todd, he won almost all his matches. He lost only to Michael Todd, I think.
And Prudnik.
Yeah, and yes, and Prudnik.
And Corey West. No, Corey. Oh no.
No, he beat Corey.
He beat Corey.
Lost the first 10 and then beat him, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, look at the people he's beaten in 2 years. Count those up. John.
He's one of the most active. I think he's pulled almost every East versus West.
I mean, he's got the pound for pound claim in him.
Yeah. Because Zaluyev. That was the first East versus West, and after that, and that was him not kind of slipping. Remember, he was slipping weird and couldn't just get to this.
Yeah,
huge
I think he's corrected that, mate. I really.
Yeah.
Interestingly, just as I say that, true or false, Todd Hutchings is the best pound for pound right now. Well, I don't know about that, but he's definitely in the conversation, mate, for sure. He's definitely one of those guys that at the age of 57, 58, whatever the hell Todd is right now, he's leveled up. As Krasi was saying, he's leveled up, and it's not easy at that age. But he's not just leveled up on physicality, he's leveled up, he's a better arm wrestler. If you look at him with the last match with Sagoff and with Kirigali, he was brilliant. I had Kirigali picked. I thought he was probably going to take that match in an amazing match. He didn't get close. He got completely shut out. And then, you know, you look at some of the matches. Who do you put against him now? Who the friggin' hell wants that match? I mean, actually, I think you do want that match, don't you, Krasi? Yeah.
I want
that match.
Is that a dream match for you? Is that like a match that, you know, is that if you could pick your guy, who are you picking? Is it Toddzilla?
Yes, for sure. From the last 5 years, Toddzilla is the man that I want to pull the most.
Can I just draw your attention to the super chats?
Read the name. Read the name.
Yeah.
Read the name.
GEORGI's fat cock.
No. Read every word separately.
GEORGI's fat cock with a super chat. And he's put, how often is it beneficial to give arm position to gain hand and wrist? Love you boys, Devon 6-0. John, I will miss you on Facebook. Yeah. All I'm going to say is that may be the best name that we've had in this chat for a very long period of time. And it can be, in answer to the question, it can be really, really beneficial. I mean, if any of you guys haven't seen the film last night, the Arm Wars film that released, watch that match and the use of the press from Devon. And he gives away wrist and hand to gain arm, to gain A side. We've seen many people do it with great success. Kirigali, who we were speaking about a moment ago, done that with great success. I used to do that quite a bit and gain success from it. It's all about timing. If you can get the timing right and you can gain enough to get the shoulder press in there, it can be amazing. It can be a really good thing. It also depends who you're arm wrestling and how good their B-side game is. You give your wrist and hand against a guy who's really good on the B side and really good on the defense, it can be a very bad move because they will hang you out to dry, and it's purely and simply dangerous against a guy who's got that level of ability, you know. Yesterday I watched our young kid pulled against Auden.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I forgot his name.
Bloody
I just watched the match.
Yeah. Felt bad for him. That worried me a bit because unless I'm mistaken, you could hear his elbow crack.
Yeah.
That's worrying. Your kid that age, not great. But he was in some horrible positions in there, jamming his arm. Oh, there's a point, guys, when you got to give it up, and that was, you know, I'm all for going out on your shield, but a lot of that age, when you've lost position that badly, I would never advise throwing your arm at it like that. You know, it's just, it's pissing me off. I can't remember his name. Was it Gabriel?
Gabriel Young.
Gabriel Young, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Gabriel Young.
Sorry, Gabriel.
Yeah.
I remembered.
That's why he wasn't there yesterday. He normally pulls my events, so that's why
He was in
wasn't there.
Canada. He pulled Auden, right? Yeah. Auden.
Yeah. Good puller as well.
That
Gabriel's a good puller. Fast,
was
explosive, but
was that at that small tournament called the Ottawa Open?
no, it was I think it was an arranged match, mate. I think wasn't it specifically arranged?
Yeah, just a super match.
Probably.
Yeah.
I thought you see that Ottawa Open would have had like 715 entries at a normal tournament.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's incredible. Speaking of Dev about that the other day on the message.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's
We
what
are in the gold age of arm wrestling, people. Enjoy it while we can, while people don't ruin it. So
Keep
Agreed.
pushing forward. There you go. Everybody's just coming in now and putting Gabriel Young. Yeah. Thanks, guys. I'm having a brain fail there for no apparent reason. Couldn't friggin' remember the name. I'm getting old.
they come to our events.
How many at Washington State?
301.
Oh, it's nice as well.
Yeah.
Some thick classes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
then we had one class that had 19 guys in it.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That's really, 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 really solid. Bulgaria, you get good.
big classes, just like John's face.
When you're talking about this, how many people? Yesterday, when we were training, the kids that are training with me now, they entered in YouTube and they were watching some player who was showing how he's playing some video game, and there were 1 million people watching him.
Twitch, yeah.
Jeez. Was that on
One-
Twitch?
1
Most likely.
million people
Yeah.
live streaming.
Yeah.
1 million people watching a dude play a computer game.
Yes.
That's a shame, isn't it?
And there were a few people. There was one with 1 million and a few others with 300,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dead is the age of athleticism.
Well, I mean, Neil, if you just get on OnlyFans, you'd elevate everyone.
Dude, if I get on OnlyFans and that was my way of making a living, I'd starve to death.
Hey, maybe you need to lose some pounds. I'm not
I
saying.
need to get on OnlyFans, yeah.
Maybe that foot finder. You can try foot
That's
finder.
it. Hey, listen, anyway, I need to make weight, you know. And he headed to the fridge, but it was bare. All I'm saying is, I'm just waiting for these stem cells to kick in. John, are you still getting the benefits? Is it still?
Yeah. It's like so yesterday, pull 4 classes, have a super match, and commentate for what the event was probably 8 hours.
Yeah, 7, 8 hours.
And I'm fine, right? Usually that would put me out for 3 days, like from my back's perspective, but I'm fine today. So
Jesus, that's
hot damn and hallelujah.
And that is absolute quality.
Yeah.
2 shots, amazing.
Take
Vitacell
it.
Biologics. Thank you.
100%.
Biologics.
Yeah, we were
out.
we were able to give away what
Yeah.
two $8,000 treatments yesterday at our event. So we gave away 16 grand worth of treatment.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And the Vitacell Biologics stuff is really ridiculous. The quality of this stuff. I mean, that with you, John, I know where you're at because obviously we're speaking in the off the show when there's no cameras running. I know what a bad situation you were in. I'm feeling the difference in Devon's arm. That's why I thought, right, that's it. I've got to do this because I haven't been able to ride my bike with my sons. I've really been in a shit condition. So whilst I haven't seen the benefit yet, speaking to Rob, when I first got over there, he said, look, if it's that severe, if the damage is as bad as you say it is, and when we got over there, they sort of had a feel at the wrist and said, okay, yeah, that's completely so it's going to take some time, you know. Plus I got sarcoidosis, which doesn't help things as well. So it's going to take some time. I'm not sort of in a rush, but if it gets there, that will do, you know. And having seen what it's done with Devon's arm and felt the difference in Devon's arm when he was over at the dark cards, couldn't believe it. Can you imagine Rolly Ray on Vitacell? My God.
Yeah, they just want me there for the source.
Yeah. Because he is umbilical cord.
Is that he's a walking umbilical cord?
I have Benjamin Button's disease. Just the opposite.
Yeah, and Ray was umbilical cord. Look at that. Crassy had fucking rolling, looking like someone out of a Mills and Boone novel, long flowing ass hair. Can you imagine, Crassy, you come back, you look like a Raoul.
I'm not the guy with the hair anymore.
Hey, you know what they say about guys with no hair, mate? It makes you more virile. Look at you and Tim. There you go, you see?
Bald is beautiful, buddy. We got this.
Sexy. What it's all about. So, Furious has just come in with a super chat. Let's have a look. He's put, Neil, we need to see a Devon versus Vitala on Arm Wars. Mate, that would be the next big card. The only problem we've got is that LARRATT doesn't speak English. And for our format, huge fundamental thing. You can't
voiceover.
I mean, you're talking, you could stay it like a 70s porn film.
I said this many times. I said this so many times. All you need to do is just sit Devon next to him and he says something and let Devon translate.
You're gonna glove puppet him.
Yeah, just and he'll say what he thinks he says. It will be amazing.
That would be, to be fair, incredible concept.
No.
Incredible. If you did it like one of them old, you know, them kung fu movies where his mouth's moving and it's totally out of sync.
Devon dubs.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yes.
We should we should do it. We should give that a shot. Giving us an idea there, Furious. That's just evolved on tonight's show. Didn't you watch the film? Have you watched the film, Ray? Of course you haven't watched the film.
No, I haven't. I just watched. I have one favorite place. I have watched that place so many different times. I love it so much because it's the best moment in the whole movie. It's when Georgie pulls the elbow over the pad, and he stays there for 7 seconds, and then Devon does a transition, and Georgie was like, "Foul, foul!"
Oh.
And it was pure comedy. It just pure, and then Devon just like, "Shut the fuck."
Yeah,
I showed it to everyone.
Yeah, we had some VIP guests, right? At the show. They're sat right, really front row. And when Devon does that, I get one of the VIP guests at the side of me goes, "Can he say that to him?" Is that like normal practice? He can just say that and that's fine. And I went, yeah, it can happen. Yeah.
Has and will happen.
You know, it's not a normal thing, but it can happen. I've never heard him say anything like that before, to be honest. It was a little bit different. It just popped out.
Yep.
You know? But
hey, boys, I got to leave. It's already 1 a.m.
Mate,
was awesome seeing
you.
you.
As always, for dropping in. We're going to wrap it up in a moment anyway, mate. We've been on here for quite a while.
King of Table 9. King of Table 9.
King of the Table 9.
Get your Table 9. King of Table 9.
Literally,
okay, stay strong. Love arm wrestling. I'll see you boys later. Bye.
And get subbed to the voice of arm wrestling if you haven't already. Rolly Ray, check him out. So, guys, we'll wrap it up in a minute anyway. I know I've got to let you guys get back to drinking over in the USA, and we got to let
you we can do that. No, that's true.
Ready for East versus West. Have you started training hard yet, Crassy? Are you on sort of the build match?
Of course, I'm training hard already for almost 2 months. So
wow. So you put in usually with these things, it's a sort of a 3-month camp, is it? You put a 3-4 month camp in there.
Usually, I'm training whole year. And this time after the King of the Table 8, I gave myself about a month of rest. And a month of rest for me means that I was just lifting weights in the gym, pumping, without rushing myself. I was just relaxing, actually, mentally, mostly mentally, because to train 3 times a day, it's not so difficult for the body. It's more difficult for the mind, actually, because you get tired from doing one thing every day for 5 hours a day. This is what I think. You need to rest here, not so much the body.
I get that, mate. How would you go on with motivation then, Krasi, now? Because you've been doing this forever. You've won everything there is to win. You're Nemiroff Cup champion. You're multiple Bulgarian, European, WAF world champion, and many, many more besides. Is your motivation still high, or do you find yourself losing it a little bit on occasion? Do you have to drag yourself back to the precipice?
My motivation is still very high. The thing, it's not that high because my dream was to become the man on the right arm, to be number 1 in the world. The thing is that I'm a little bit disappointed from the direction of the sport, because I really would love every competition to be drug-free, to be drug-tested events.
Good for you.
This is my dream, and I'm a little bit disappointed because of this super match format, because most of the people would like to see the monsters, the big, huge monsters. And they don't realize that the normal people who are not using PEDs are not looking that way. And this makes me a little bit sad. But I still have in my mind, for example, to compete at WAF and win the WAF super heavyweight title. And this is something still in my mind. And for example, next year, if I feel great, I can try to do that.
Mate, I'll tell you this. Number one, I've got massive admiration for what you just said. You know my position on that. I think the biggest thing is that you are, without question, if you look back at your career, you have been involved in some of the most entertaining matches in the game. I mean, you've mentioned some of them tonight. Your match with KOTT was an absolute barn-burning classic. I will never forget the world championships in Brazil. Mate, that was wonderful. That match was unbelievable. And at that time, when Liliev and yourself were both absolutely peak, that was an incredible match that day. The whole place was on its feet. It was mega. When you've got a room full of 1,000 of your peers, all the top guys in the world are there watching, and they're on their feet clapping, that says a great deal. And that's the kind of stuff you should take with you, mate. And then your last outing against Lachlan, by far the best match of the night. By far the best match of the night. And there's so many more out there for you. One that I talk about all the time, and he's a guy that, and I've wanted to do this in Arm Wars. And mate, I would love you to do this match in Arm Wars for the reason you just spoke about. Is yourself and Rob Vigent Jr. End of. I think that is a stunning match. You're both on the same page, and I will book that for Ironhouse 4 today. That is a friggin' awesome match. Awesome match. As I say, one that I just want to put out there. Beyond belief. That would be a killer match. But stick in there, mate, because, yeah, a lot of love for it.
I would like to say something about my match with Lachlan that most of the people wouldn't mention. But the last round, I did something that I have never done in my career. And this is that after the goal, I pressed with my shoulder, and it was like maximum effort for 18 seconds without stop from myself. I have never ever done this before. You can watch the replay and see that I hit with the shoulder and I stayed there for 18 seconds with maximum power all the whole time. I have never ever done this before.
I can tell you that because I ref that match, that it was hard to ref that match and not watch that match. It was such a great match. You kind of catch yourself like, shit, I'm actually reffing this. I gotta stay tuned. I just want to watch this match.
Yeah.
It was great. And then I just don't know, speaking to somebody else about this, I don't know how you can mentally prepare for that match for what you had to do. You flew in, you did the match, you ate a burger and ran to the airport and got on a plane and left. I don't know how you did it, man. Like, I don't know how you did it. It was impressive. It was a great match. It was awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, it really was. It was an absolutely killer match, no doubt about that. And as I said before, so many times, you've shown up at a gig and stole the show. Marcio and yourself in the WAL, mate. What a match. What a match. That was another absolutely iron match. Unbelievable.
I would like to pull Marcio once again.
Yeah, that was a good, mate. That's another one. That's another one. I would do in a heartbeat. Both arms, actually.
Both arms. Actually, yes.
We can book that, mate. Let's get it done. I'll tell you what. There's so many stories there, and as I say, the whole thing about the stance on the prep and so on. Yeah, good for you. Love it. Absolutely love that approach. You really do. But stay with it, mate. Keep that motivation high. I wanted to ask you one thing before we let you go. And take this how it's meant in terms of, I'm not detracting from what happened with Sasho here at all, because Sasho's iron. Really not about that. When you go into a match now with John, is your focus and motivation now where it would have been if you'd been pulling him 10, 15 years ago? Are you as hungry is not the right word. It's how to articulate it. Is there any sort of reservation in there a bit? Do you feel a little bit like, because of who John is, because of the level of respect that everybody in the sport has for John, I find myself watching matches with John and I feel like, Christ, if I was pulling this guy, I'd kind of want him to win. And I'm not kidding. There's kind of like, you feel like whenever John loses, I don't know, it feels wrong. I can't explain why. It really does. Yeah. It feels like, you want it. You want, everybody wants him to win. You can't not want him to win. It's a strange feeling. How do you feel about that? Really, are you going after him?
I definitely would like to win this match. I definitely would like to win, and I'm absolutely motivated for this match because of John. Who is John? Everybody knows John, the greatest of all time so far.
Still a legacy match for you, Krasi. Do you still, let's say you go in and you win that match, would you still put this as, because 10 years ago you beat John Brzenk and you are like, oh my God, that's my all-time greatest win. Is it now? If you beat him now in your mind, and as I say, this is not to detract from it if you go in there and win. It's a genuinely honest question. Because I'm going to be honest with you, if I could ever get fit again, it's a match I would love to have would be John, just because, like you say, it's John. But then again, you think to yourself, but is that a bit of a dick move in some ways? Question why you would do it in some ways also, why you would want to pull him. You know what I mean? As much.
If I have success against him now and I beat him again, that would prove that I'm one of the most uncomfortable opponents for him.
Yes. Stylistically.
Stylistically, yes.
Yep.
And this is what I try to prove.
How many guys do you feel there are now in the weight class that you would put above John? Because you're going to say Todd, you would put above him now. Would you put Urigali above him? Would you put Zirikashvili above him? I know they beat him, but hardcore John fans would say, yeah, but John was sick there and John allowed Zirikashvili into the match. Where do you see that? Do you think on a they pull on a Tuesday that Zirakashvili wins, they pull on a Thursday, John could come back and beat him? Or
the match with Zirakashvili, it was extremely even match. For me, they were about the same that day.
I agree.
Just Irakli was with a little bit better endurance.
Yeah.
Ungarbaev, I would put him a little bit higher than John.
Okay.
Because in my eyes, he was the better man when they pulled.
Mm-hmm.
Hutchings right now is up there. Prudnik versus John would be interesting for me in minus 105 kilo class.
Who would be the favorite?
I don't know, actually. I don't know. Because I believe that John will top roll Prudnik. I believe John will do better against Prudnik than Hutchins against Prudnik.
Interesting.
Do you think a rematch with him and O'Rourke would be good?
Of course.
I
would want to see. I would want to see that.
I think he can win that, and I think I would like to see him pull Kirigali again.
Yeah.
I think he can win both of those matches.
We're about 7-8 people who everyone can beat the other guy.
Yeah.
Do you also, because you competed at King of the Table, you competed at East versus West. Do you find yourself finding it harder to compete at one than the other with the rules?
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so.
Yeah, it doesn't.
But it may vary by the opponent, because Lachlan was not so tricky. He was not trying to cheat that much, but there are some opponents who are trying to cheat a lot on the grip, and I don't know.
So we just had a super chat in for you, Krassi, here from Furious, and he's put, Krassi, you already beat the #1 guy, Levan, back in 2016, which is true. One of the few guys that have got that win, but you've got it. You know, hell of a win, mate. Hell of a win, that. And like I say, Liliev, at the time when you did that, that was mega. Absolutely mega. DB Talks coming with a super chat. Thank you, brother. He's put, Krasimir, you performed better against Dave Chafee than you did against Matt Mask. Why was this the case, in your opinion?
The thing is that when I put Matt Mask, it was 3 weeks after I put Irakli. And when I was younger, when I was 20, 25 years old, for me, there was not a big problem to pull, and after 3-4 weeks to pull again. But right now, after competition, I need between 6 and 8 months and 8 weeks to get back where I was. After every competition right now, I'm very... my form goes down after every competition.
Yeah, smashes you up.
And I realized that it was a mistake for me to accept that match. And right now, in 2 weeks in Russia, there will be AMC #6, I think.
Isn't it the 23rd of December or something, like a couple of days?
Yes. And I would love to pull there.
Hardcore as fuck, that, isn't it?
I would love to pull there, but I will not, because my match with John.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the right move, mate. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I wouldn't pull the AMC. Will be brutal as hell.
Yeah, because that's like, what, 5 weeks apart from each other? 5 weeks?
Yeah.
Brutal.
So I'm not using stem cells, so I cannot afford to pull every 4 weeks.
Mate, let me tell you, yeah, I think that's the right move. If you, I mean, just the guys that are there, you know, you've got guys like Bogoslov out there. You've got obviously Ibrahim. You've got some frigging beasts over there. And if you went over there, you'd probably end up pulling the Open. Let's be honest.
Yes.
And it's just Jurassic Park. You come off that, you're going to be busted up, like you say. Even if you're fit to pull, John, you'll probably lose 3 weeks of training at least.
Yes, that's true. But I competed there this year, and I got 5th, and I was prepared super good. I was lifting weights in the gym, and I mean specific for arm wrestling lifts. and I was absolutely top of my lifts ever, and I got 5th. So the level there is super high, and I would definitely love to pull there again, but not this time. Maybe next year.
Yeah, one thing I want to do at some point, Krasi, because I have massive respect for how you prep and train over there, and I've seen the Bulgarian system, and I know you're right at the top of that. If my sons ever showed any real interest in arm wrestling, you are without question one of the guys that I would try to bring them over to learn from, and I'd come with them and learn some too. I think it would be you'd be a phenomenal base of knowledge for them or anybody else again for that matter.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
And as I say, don't be surprised if I call you one day. If they ever start showing interest, that would definitely be a place I'd love to come over and get a little bit of background on that. Lads, I'm going to let you jump off here. We've been on for an hour and 30 minutes. Krasi, I want to say thank you very much for giving me time, mate. I know it's super late over there. Absolute honor to get you back on the show. It's been too long, brother. And best of luck with the prep for the John match. I think that's going to be a really interesting match. I know it's a match that both of you will be looking forward to, and I think it could be another absolute barnstormer. And
let me just ask you something, Neil.
Yeah, sure.
Do you think that John is the one who wants this match, or it's Engin the one that wants this match more? Let's say this.
Honestly, I think Engin probably wants the match the most because Engin has massive respect for John in the same way that you do, I do, and a lot of the guys that I spend a lot of time with John when we're over there, and I ask him this all the time, where are you at in it? I think John loves to arm wrestle, but how that guy doesn't feel pressure, I can't imagine. Because I know that John within himself takes a loss as well as any man I've ever seen. I mean, for a guy that has the notoriety, the accolades and accomplishments that he does, what a lesson he can give to anybody in how to take an ass kicking. I mean, he really doesn't give a shit. He literally can lose a match and he just goes, yeah, good pull. He's straight out. He'll have an ice cream and a beer. He really couldn't care less. And that is one of, if not the most beautiful thing about John. For me, I think that whole approach, I would always say to anybody coming into particularly a combat sport or anything with a combat sport base, a one-on-one base, if you can ever get to a situation where you can purify the thing that you want to win more than you are concerned about or afraid of losing, you will be optimum. You are able, you free yourself and can perform at your very best. God knows myself and Ryan Bowen haven't got on sometimes. But one thing I always did respect about Ryan, he's sort of digested that lesson from John and from other pullers of that ilk, and he will take an ass kicking, and he'll keep rolling on. He took a lot of stick over the falling forward thing and all like that. But one thing I would say is that he will take an ass kicking and keep on ticking. And that is a thing. And John does that better than anyone. The downside of that, it's back to that balance thing, I suppose. I think somewhere within you, and I'm guilty of this, in order to go on to be a good arm wrestler, if the venom isn't there, it isn't there. You know what I mean? You're at your very best in this game when you're the hunter, and you're really hunting. You want it. You really want to friggin' win. For any reason.
But this is the case sometimes, but sometimes it's not the case. I will tell you something.
Yeah.
When I went to pull at Nemirov Zloty 2019, I went there to pull with right.
Mm-hmm.
The last 2 months of my preparation was completely focused on my right.
Yeah.
I was training my right 30-40% more than my left. I went there thinking, with left, if I win my 105 kilo class, that would be great. If not, okay. With my right, I'm going there to win my class and to win the overalls.
Yeah.
And what happened? I went there, with left, I won my class and I won the overalls.
I get it, but there's a subtle difference, and this is the difference. Okay. For yourself, you were there and you're focused on your right arm, but nevertheless, you were diligently preparing very hard on the right arm. With John, that ain't the case. John, his prep was never in the gym. It was never the train your ass off, and it just wasn't him. That mother woke up and it was like, and thou shall be an arm wrestler. I mean, God-given arm wrestler. Just a one-off freak. A wonderful freak that's dominated the sport forever. But his enhancement to the game was being on the table all the time. Just going on there and pursuing it, hunting it, pulling, loving it. When he started to have a lot of pain, and I used to room with John a lot, and he'd speak about this, he was getting that much pain and aggravation from it that he was questioning whether it was worth it. At the time when Pulling John was on, he was on the slide because of the fact that he wasn't enjoying arm wrestling anymore. It wasn't the pressure of arm wrestling. As I say, he wasn't worried about that. It was more that he was feeling physically depleted, damaged, busted up, brutalized. He'd been pulling anyone and everyone, put his arm and body on the line. I mean, look at the guys he faced. You know, when he was 198 pounds, 220 pounds, he would pull up to the super heavyweights and he'd pull them in any position. And it does take a toll. You get in your 40s and it takes more of a toll than it did in your 30s. You get 50s, same thing. And I do think now that John sometimes doesn't feel physically great. And I think that's the thing, because he's not going to pick himself up and go to practice after practice and stay on the table all day when he feels like that. That's the difference in his prep and your prep. You know what I mean? You will grind it out, and I think Eastern Europeans are generally very professional in their approach. Like John was saying earlier, there is a difference in that. And John's level, it's like, you know, you want to be a good tennis player, play tennis. Got to be honest, I did a lot of that. No, that, you know, it was always the table will make you sharp. And the style that I pulled in, it was always around the table. So if you're not enjoying arm wrestling and the fire and the venom isn't there to arm wrestle, you can't help but lose a little. And that's what worries me with John. So I don't think it's that he doesn't necessarily or wouldn't want to be able to do it again. I think if you could say to him, you know what, John, all this pain's gone again, and you can wind yourself back to how you felt in the sport when you were in your 30s, I'm sure he'd do it. But I don't think he does anymore. I think he gets out of bed in the morning and don't feel great. Certainly when I speak to him in East versus West, he you know, we've spoken about that a lot, and he says, yeah, God, you know, sometimes I'm not feeling great generally, having little dizzy spells and things like that, which is not, you don't feel good about yourself when you're like that, do you? You know, I don't know. We'll see. Personally, I hope the stem cells work like mad, and I hope the guy continues pulling for another bloody 5-10 years. Will he? I don't know. I really don't. I think it's a very difficult time to continue to face the best guys in the world when you're in your late 50s. I know that there are one-off weird examples. Toddzilla is a great one. I think it will become more difficult to do that when you've got the likes of Reno Masic chasing. And I think we're just starting that era, personally.
Mm-hmm.
How many have you got in Bulgaria, Krasi? How many kids have you got coming up that you look at in training and think, Jesus?
Many.
Yeah. You know, when John, when you came into the game, Tim, when you came into the game, could you throw on, you know, Daniel Prokopchuk's YouTube channel? Could you throw on Voice of Arm Wrestling? Could you throw on what? You know.
No.
The Northeast Reader Board was
message boards when we came in. We were just talking about this yesterday, where there you had to find people with VHS tapes or something like that. Like there was no arm wrestling on YouTube at that point.
No, yeah, I mean, literally, it was we waited for a flyer in the mail just to get excited for another tournament.
Yeah.
There was no footage on. It wasn't like I'm gonna go to a tournament. This guy's going. I don't know. I can't watch no footage on him or nothing. You showed up, you signed up, you gripped and ripped. I mean, hell, we didn't even top roll. It was just a grip and rip. So
Not until Gary Roberts hit the scene.
yeah. I mean, that's true. I mean, when Gary Roberts hit the scene, it changed the game for us. I mean, for me at least.
Yeah.
Like you could go on here and watch all these tournaments, and I mean, it really changed everything for me. I was at the very first ROTN. So yeah, I hope he does some more things again.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, Gary's a good dude, mate. Good dude, absolute trailblazer. Great lad, absolutely great lad. Lightning Luke Kint there in the chat. Luke, how you doing, mate? Hope you and your family are well. Good dude, hell of a top roller right there. Really good top roller, Luke Kint. For those of you who don't know, Luke Kint, very solid.
Awesome.
The guys that are coming up now. Not that there wasn't always good arm wrestlers. That's a myth. There's always been amazing arm wrestlers. But I think the difference in the guys that are coming up now is going to be the depth of talent.
Yeah.
I think there is a depth of talent coming, a wave of new guys coming that is different. And that depth of talent is going to be there's so many guys that you've never heard of. And yet, Krasimir will be sat at home watching these guys and thinking, yeah, well, that's a bad dude. We all know that, But the rest of the world doesn't. They have no frigging clue who that guy is. Latvia, there's another host of killers. Russia, there's another host of killers. Don't even get me started on Kazakhstan. Because the boys in Shadara City have got some frigging weirdos. There's a lot of them coming. And I think that's the difference. I think there's going to be more and more. There was some lads out at East versus West, a lot of guys out there that were just coming up to you day after day when you're out there and taking in everything, just swallowing information. And they're, 22, 23, 20. Those guys, when they get 10 years under the belt, and they've got all this information, all this knowledge coming from every frigging conceivable angle, you won't want to walk past them. There's going to be some absolute weapons coming. And then
I think that's...
Sorry, go, Tim.
I think that's the key. What you're saying, though, is the knowledge that these young guys are bringing in now that we didn't have that access. So with all the training videos, Jacob Abbott's team up here, 50+ guys pulling 2-3 times a week, with the knowledge that these guys can bring them and the access they have, you're right. 10 years, it's going to be a whole different ballgame. I don't think we're going to be able to be like John and Todd pulling when we're 50-some years old against these guys. I don't see it happening because of the knowledge that they're going to have. We're not going to be able to do what they're doing now, in my opinion.
Is that your aspiration, Krasig? You see yourself, 55, 56 years old, still cracking into Reno Masick when he's in his 30s?
I would definitely like to be like that. I hope for this.
Be amazing, wouldn't it? If it's possible.
Yeah, I think it's possible. But let's see.
Yeah, well, like you say, ride it till the wheels come off, mate. The day, if you're fit to arm wrestle and you're still enjoying arm wrestle, why the hell not? Because that's the only thing that'd stop me doing it. Like I say, I've got all these frigging wristbands on trying to magnetize my wrist and take the pain away. But if you get to a situation where you're pain free and you can still do it, yeah.
Exactly.
And that is why I will be going for another stem cell shot. Go try and grow back in that wrist some cartilage, because that's what it needs, so I can move it again. But listen, guys, I'm going to let you jump off here. Massive thank you, Krassi, again. Anytime you want to jump on, mate, it's always fantastic to have you on here. Tim, thank you for jumping on the show with myself, John Ray. and the Fix crew. Absolutely loved having you on here, and congratulations with Washington State, mate. I will be seeing you, watching you do your thing in Vegas. We'll have that lined up. It's on. John, catch you soon.
Brother.
Really pleased to hear you back well, mate. That's really good.
Yeah, buddy. Thank you.
Absolutely spot on. Everybody in the chat, thank you for taking the time to tune into tonight's Fix 175 show. As I said before, if you're not subscribed, please do so. Give us a like before you jump off, and get over and check out the film that we released of Georgie TSVETKOV, No Limits Devon LARRATT. We put that out free for anybody that was asking to see that. The film version went out free last night. You can catch it right now. Let people see it, spread it around, show your family, show your friends, and let's get the word of arm wrestling out there. Until we see you next time on The Fix, it'll be Sunday night. Biggity bong, mother fluffers. Bye-bye.
See you guys. Bye-bye.
Cheers, guys.
Thank